What's up, guys? It's once again mp4podcast.com, and what I want to talk about is the backlash that is happening with the Xbox One. Now, the Sony executives are strongly listening to all this backlash that's happening with the Xbox One. The Xbox One is a disaster. The show was a disaster. It was all about television and so on. And then, people were asking Major Nelson, does the system have to be on, blah, 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 online? And they were saying, no, it only has to be online once a day. And, games are tied to the system, so they talked a little bit, but they're not really coming out completely clean because they want to really think about how they're going to word this because they know they're in trouble. But Sony was kind of smart back in February and what they said, with used games. After the show, one of the reporters asked the Sony executives, what's your policy going to be with used games and so on. Sony came out and says, we will not block used games for Sony IP, such as God of War, MotorStorm, Killzone, blah, blah, blah. Games that Sony owns themselves. But they were going to allow third parties to block used games if they choose to. So if EA wanted to block Battlefield 4 used copies, they could. But if Activision want to allow used copies to be sold of Call of Duty Ghost, they can. So Activision's like, okay, we don't want to block used games. Let people sell them whatever they want. But EA's like, nope, we're going to block used games. So it's going to be up to the third party. And, all the hate would go to third parties. It wouldn't technically go to Sony, but people would be like, maybe if you're thinking about buying a console, I was like, I don't know, the PS4 still has that problem, but it's not as, it's the third parties, so it's like half, the hate would mostly go to third party, but not completely. But since the backlash is so strong with the Xbox One, Sony is strongly thinking about not using any DRM to stop used games whatsoever. So they're not even they're thinking about not using it at all. They're not completely, rumors going around that they're thinking about not using it. So the links will be in the description box of some articles. Also, the Twitter accounts to some of the Sony executives, and you can tweet out to them and say, hey, we don't want DRM for used games, blah, blah, blah. Let Sony know. This is a big move for Sony if they decide not to use DRM to block used games, because right now nobody's really that happy about the Xbox One. This is a big move. We all know that these companies, they don't want used games, but at what cost do they want to stop used games? Do they want to destroy their own companies? Because remember, they have competition as well. And I was thinking about just getting a Nintendo Wii and be like, I'll be happy with the Nintendo Wii in PC gaming. But now the PS4 is more on the block again for me to purchase. I might still get a Nintendo Wii. I know there's DRM on the PC, but it doesn't bother me as much. And that's because of the prices are so cheap for PC gaming. Just to give you an example, the newest Tomb Raider game that just came out a couple of days ago, I bought that from Green Man Gaming. I think it's greenmangaming.com. It was like $16, and there was a 20% promotional code too. I got the new Tomb Raider game for $13, and I got the Steam key, and I put it in my Steam account. So when you're paying really cheap prices like that, it doesn't bother me that much for new games, because it's, even if I bought the Xbox 360 or the PS3 version and traded it in, I wouldn't have gotten $13 for it probably. Maybe I got $10 or whatever. Maybe I would have gotten $20. I don't really know, but you're paying it so cheap on the PC, and I don't really buy $60 games on the PC anyway. But anyway, guys, links are going to be in the description box of this video for you to let the Sony executives know that you do not want DRM on the PS4. Now, hopefully, Microsoft will get this message as well and stop this DRM also in the Xbox One. I would like to see that because, like I said, I prefer the Xbox 360 controller over the PS3 controller. I like how the analog sticks are on a different axis for first-person shooters. It feels better in my hand. I've said this before. I like the PS3 controller for fighting games. I like how the D-pad and the buttons are on the same like parallel line. It just feels better in my hand. So I like both consoles, and I like them better for different reasons. Now, I do play first-person shooters on PS3. I don't think they're bad at all, but I mean, I just prefer one a little bit more than the other. And hopefully Microsoft will get the same exact message that the Sony executives are listening to, that consumers do not want this at all. Now, I'll just say this. The DRM that's in the Xbox One, there is one way for that system to be successful with that DRM. They need to sell games as cheap as Steam. If, 3 months later, Battlefield 4, Call of Duty 4 goes down to $20, $15, maybe for 3-4 days, and you're buying all these super great deals extremely cheap, that's the only way that the console can be successful. And I don't think they're going to do that. But I would rather have the prices stay the way they are and not have the DRM. And that's because these systems are going to be collectible, and games should be collectible if you want to buy these consoles 20 years down the road and play retro games. So there is an investment down the road as well. But anyway, guys, this has been mp4podcast.com. And if you're new to my videos, please hit that subscribe button and let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments below. Take care, guys. Love you guys. Bye.